This music's
And we're
sad.
live. So, welcome back to another complimentary training from LifterLMS. You've got Chris Badgett, Kurt Von Onen, and Will Middleton. We're going to be talking today about a new, just launched LifterLMS add on called Private Site. If you can see us, if you can hear us, do us a favor wherever you're watching this, smash the like button, smash the heart button, drop a comment below, let us know where you're viewing this. Even if you're watching the replay, we love seeing where all over the world people are. So go ahead and drop a comment down below. So this is going to be recorded. So if you can't stay the whole time, you will be able to watch the replay. But if you are here live and you do stay the whole time, you are eligible. We're going to be doing a drawing at the end to win a free private site add-on, a free year of that. So if you're live with us, I'd encourage you to stay to the end, whether you're watching here on the StreamYard webinar or on social media, whether you're on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, wherever you're watching. We're looking for your comments. So again, drop a comment down below. Let us know where you're calling in from. This is going to be an interactive session. So if you have questions about how to create an internal training site, how to restrict your website, your LMS e-learning website 100% with private site, we're here to answer that for you today. We're also going to be doing a demo of it. So stick around, stay to the end, ask questions, and we're going to jump right into it. So what just happened? LifterLMS just released a new add-on called Private Site, and I'm going to pull that up on my screen here, which you can see. This is a new premium add-on, and essentially what it does is it locks down 100% of your website to a single login. It even removes the header and the footer of your site so that everything you have is 100% private. You 100% control user access to your private site. Everything's locked down. One of the most common use cases for a private site is for what's known in the LMS or learning management system industry as an internal training website, which is a fancy way of saying, I'm a company, I train my team members and employees, and this is a private website for our own internal training purposes. What you can see on the screen is actually a screenshot, which you'll see an actual live demo of in a little bit, of how we use private site with LifterLMS to create our own internal company training portal. So inside a business, depends how you organize your company, but LifterLMS exists with 7 main departments. We've got customer success, we've got design, we've got engineering, marketing, product, sales, operations, and admin. And within each of these buckets are training processes and procedures that we've documented, and our team continues to add value to. People learn how to do various functions in the business inside of this training portal for our company. That's essentially what a internal private training site is. There's other use cases where you're just not selling courses or memberships to the public. It's private, it's confidential. Whatever you're trying to do, we're going to have some case studies and stories about that here in a little bit. It's all possible with LifterLMS private site. And the cool thing about it is, if you have a company, your company is more valuable, whether you're a software company, an agency, any kind of service provider, e-commerce company, it doesn't matter what kind of company or business, but if you actually slow down and document your processes and procedures, and you build a culture within your organization where others help to capture these training assets, you're creating intellectual property. It literally makes your company not only an easier place to work at, especially for new team members, but it also makes your company more valuable. So that's what a private site is. And just to go over it a little bit more, a private site protects your entire website, not just pieces. So only the login is available. There's no identifiable info of like who's behind this website, except for the URL at the top. So and you've got a login screen and a URL at the top, and you 100% control user access. So, of course, LifterLMS already has a lot of, access plans, controls, prerequisites, drip content, membership bundling, which Will's going to get into in a little bit later. But private site is the most extreme version. It's 100% lockdown of your entire website. And I'm going to pass it over to Kurt to talk a little bit about internal training, what it means to him, and how a private site might be used, and provide some examples. So over to you, Kurt.
Fantastic, Chris. Thanks. I would say probably if you think about things from a corporate standpoint, like a use case scenario, private site's super, super handy, because my example, I used to be the corporate training manager for Suzuki. The company does motorcycles, boats, ATVs, all that stuff. Well, they have a marine division. And in the marine division, they found that they were having difficulty in getting field reps out to the new dealerships to onboard the new dealerships properly into the company processes, as like how to order more motors, how to order accessories, how to process warranty claims, things like that. And so if you're dependent upon a physical person to visit remote locations all over the place, this kind of hybrid example of being able to make a private site that people can jump into in a hybrid scenario to like get the theory before a physical person shows up to their store, well, it kind of fast tracks everything, and it helps build the relationship from a distributor standpoint to a retailer standpoint. It helps build that relationship so that when that field rep actually goes to that store, they concentrate more on the relationship and adding to the sale rather than just getting people up to speed. Like, how do I log in? How do I sign on? How do I order a part? Because all that was covered in the online scenario. The other things that I found really interesting, and if we think about things, and I don't mean to make it overcomplicated in this session here, but Lifter has that REST API. And when we talk about corporate integrations and things like that, and single sign-ons and integrating with HR processes and stuff, having the site locked down except for login makes it easier and secure at the same time, which makes people that are like C-suite type executives more confident with the idea of having an e-learning site kind of add on to their portfolio.
That's awesome. Well, I'm going to do a demo of how we use private site here at LifterLMS. And if Will or Kurt, one of you guys could drop in the comment below just a link to the private site product. If anybody wants to go check that out, check it out. We'll also put a link to try LifterLMS private site before you buy using our $1 demo site that we host for you, so you can test it out, take it on a test drive. But I'm going to share my screen with you and show you a couple of different ways that a couple of different views of LifterLMS private site. So this one view right here is just, this is it. This is just the login screen that has, you can see there's no header, there's no footer. We have a message we added down here. We're also pulled a feature out of a LifterLMS membership functionality out to the front that you can see up here, but it's literally just a login. team.lifterlms.com is our private site. But if you work here and you have a login, I'm going to show you what that looks like. So, and again, we 100% control access to the site. The site does exist on the internet, but only people with the login can see it. So if you do have a login and you're able to log in, you actually can log in to the LifterLMS private site. Now, a lot of the stuff in here is private to our company and our operations. So I'm not going to drill into the LMS and show you all our systems and processes, which we capture in what we call playbooks. Playbooks are a creative way to use courses where you can kind of organize and structure the data, around different topics. So as I mentioned, at LifterLMS, we have 7 main departments. We've got sales, product, operations and admin, marketing, engineering, design, and customer success. And within each of these courses, the lessons are basically documented processes and procedures. We also use sections within courses to better organize that content. So if we hire, let's say, a new customer success person, we give them a login to the site, we enroll them in the customer success course, which has captured what we've learned after 8+ years, helping WordPress professionals and subject matter experts and business owners be successful with our product, so that they can better help customers and users who are reaching out for help and asking to understand things better and be successful with our product. We also have other kind of pages on our site, policies and things like that don't really fit inside of a training course. They're more just kind of like global policies. So those pages are all 100% protected by LifterLMS private site as well. And then we have, certain things like benefit packages and all that kind of stuff is in our in the private site on pages. We also do some stuff with Gravity forms to create a review system within the organization, and all that again is 100% private and protected by the LifterLMS private site add-on. So I'm gonna hand it over to Will here in a second so that he can kind of take you to the back end of WordPress and show you some of the nuances and differences. LifterLMS has an access system. It already has memberships. It already has these fancy little access points that you can control. Think of private site as like your 100%. I want to lock down this website like Fort Knox, but I just don't want to. I want to make sure you see all the other little nuanced ways that LifterLMS helps you control access and how private site is different from those. So over to you, Will.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Chris. Let me share my screen, make sure my window comes through.
It's up.
There we go.
Good.
Cool. So like Chris said, in LifterLMS, there's multiple ways that you can control access to your website. And like, what does even controlling access mean? So there's a few different levels to this. And LifterLMS introduces a lot of these interesting access level controls into your website. Of course, in the back end of WordPress with LifterLMS installed, we have two areas, courses and memberships, that are pretty important for controlling access. If we dive into a course or a membership and then edit any of these, we'll see that each course and membership has what's called an access plan. An access plan determines how people are going to gain access to this course specifically. So in this case, we can see I have two access plans. One's titled a la carte course, so people can buy this one for $500, or it looks like I have one that says course with membership. So this is going to be a free access plan, but only for people who are already enrolled in a different membership. So this access plan system is really the gateway for how people get into your LifterLMS website. And this applies to both courses and memberships for these access plans. And memberships are something we have at LifterLMS as a feature built into the core plugin, but we don't really emphasize a lot when we talk about learning management system. There's the idea of a membership and what does that include? And in the case of LifterLMS, you can include multiple courses within one membership. Using a feature we call auto enrollment, we can list out courses we want to allow access to when someone joins this membership. So if someone purchases this membership via one of my access plans here below, they're going to be enrolled into all of these courses. Looks like I have 15 of them listed here. So they're going to automatically get access to all 15 or so of these courses within one purchase from a membership. So they don't have to buy each course one by one individually. There's the membership level that we can use for access as well. Another way to restrict access is based on time periods. So we can have like course start and end dates. If I jump into one of my courses and edit, we can dive into a tab here. I believe it's restrictions. We have an option to enable enrollment periods. So people can only enroll in this course during a certain date range. If I want to set that certain date range for people, if this is a time-based course. And we can also enable course time period. So people can only access lessons in this course during certain time periods. So if I'm running a course once every 3 months and it's a 1 month long cohort style course, that's where I would want to use the course time period to say that this course is only going to be accessible for that certain period of time by just setting the dates. If this is going to be a course, it opens on June 1st and ends at the end of June, I can set that level of access here. And that would be the course start and end date, as well as the enrollment period. And the next thing we'll take a look at is the drip content. Drip content is something we'll see inside of our course builder. Each course in LifterLMS has the LifterLMS course builder that designates the sections and lessons in the order, and we can set items like prerequisites. If we wanted to set a prerequisite saying that you need to complete lesson 1 before being allowed to move to lesson 2, this sort of forces an order that we need to complete the course in. And we can also include drip method as an option here, so we can say that this drip lesson becomes available a number of days after prerequisite completion in this case. So you complete lesson 1, then you have to wait 1 day in order to move to lesson 2. Or we could say number of days after enrollment. So this lesson will become available 1 day after you enroll in the course, or any number of days after you enroll in the course. And there's also the third option of a specific date. If you want this lesson to become available on a specific date at a specific time, you can do that as well. At LifterLMS, we've run a course before that was like a live webinar summit. And so what we did is we didn't even have the content ready when we were selling the course. People were enrolling and getting in, but this was a course that was time-based. We were going to record the videos on a certain date with our guest speakers and then add the content into the lessons as we went. So that was an example where we used the drip method to say that, on June 2nd, we're going to have Chris on as a speaker, and then we'll have this lesson become available at that time. So there's a lot of options in LifterLMS for restricting the content. This is just LifterLMS out of the box. We haven't even gotten into the private site setup yet. So with LifterLMS private site, what this feature introduces is a plugin that you can add to the back end of your WordPress website that adds a tab under the integrations here. And I have a lot of them on my list here, but LifterLMS private site, if I click in here and then enable this integration, what it's going to do is restrict my website. So only people enrolled in my website, or only users on my website, are going to be able to log in here. And like Chris mentioned, there was a login page. Let me see if I can pull that up and demo what that looks like. If I copy my link address to my website, I think I'm going to have to reshare my screen to show you what the logged out view looks like. I'll show you that here. Let's screen share again, share this window. So this is what it looks like for someone who's logged out. So since I just installed the private site add-on, check the box, and now nobody can access my website unless you log in with this form right here. So just by installing the plugin, checking one box, we've now restricted our site completely, and that's a really awesome feature set to be able to just control the access. And of course, on the back end of WordPress, this is a page that we can edit. So if I jump back over here to LifterLMS settings, we're back in my logged in view. This is a private site login page. If I view this page as a website admin, I have the option to come in here and edit this page. If I wanted to add some informational content, for example, it just says login. It's like, what does that mean? So we could add in, this is a corporate training website for LifterLMS.
Or you could put a logo up there, or some message like, hey, if you think you should can't log in, and give them a link on what to do, all kinds of stuff.
Exactly, yeah, we dropped the LifterLMS logo here for our login page, reorder the items.
You could do a talking head embedded video.
Yeah, you could say like, if you're not a part of the LifterLMS company, go somewhere else. This is a lockdown internal training website. You could have anything you want on this page, but it's really nice to be able to update this so that when people go to your private site here, share screen and reload now that I've made my updates, we can see, a little bit of an explanation. And I just threw in an image and some text. You could format this however you wanted to, throw a video below it, like Kurt said. But that is the high level of how LifterLMS private site works. And we have a few options in the back end. If I jump back over here, LifterLMS settings, integrations, private site, jump back over here, I'll highlight these settings real quick. There's an option to enable open registration. So if this is an example where you want people to be able to register themselves, you could check that box for open registration. And what that's going to do is allow a login form to display below, or a register form to display below your login form on that private site page. And that's really nice if you want people to be able to register to your website. For an internal training company, mostly people are going to be added to the website by a website admin creating them as a user. That's really the only way to get in, is if an admin creates you, you're in. If not, there's no way to get in. But if you did want to allow people to register on that login page, check this box, and that'll give you that register form. And of course, you can edit that form under LifterLMS forms if you wanted to change the fields in that form. And then a few options for search engine visibility. We're not going to need a rank for SEO on a private site, so I recommend checking that box. Probably disable the RSS feed because we're not going to be sending out newsletters or having our posts available to the public at all. So I'd check that box, and then I'd also check only authenticated users can use the REST API. I usually just check these 3 boxes by default to lock down the site as much as possible. But that is a tour of LifterLMS private sites and how the functionality on the back end of WordPress works to bring this internal training environment to life. I guess I'll pass it over to Kurt to tour the LifterLMS private sites page on our website that gives you a rundown of how LifterLMS private site can work for you.
Cool. Thanks, Will. I'll throw up the link at the bottom of our screen first. I'll jump into a screen share, and we'll go into LifterLMS private site. You guys are still seeing the private site on the screen, right?
Yep.
We're seeing it.
Okay.
And before you get going, I just want to say, for those of you watching us live, if you have any questions at all, we're going to get to Q&A in a sec. So load up the comment, the chat, with any kind of questions you have. We're happy to have a Q&A session if we have any questions. Back over to you, Kurt.
Nice. Well, we've got the URL right here, lifterlms.com/product-site. It's linked on the screen as well. LifterLMS private site just launched, as Chris is describing. You got the benefits, the screenshots, the details, and the big deal here is that it is on sale for $199 for the year. It's also a part of the Infinity bundle. You can grab it with that. As we described, you can restrict access to the entire website. You can deploy.
Sorry, Kurt. Quick question for you. I mean, just throwing out numbers, how valuable, do you think, for an agency who's building a private site for a company, how much have you charged, or could you see somebody charging to build an internal company training portal for a business? And I know $199 is not cheap, but how much could one of these website projects be worth to a company?
Chris, this question comes up a lot, and sometimes the numbers I say sound like they're crazy, but they're not crazy. I know I've worked personally with training departments that have spent upwards of $400,000 a year to host their learning content, and they still had a learning department that made the content, that managed the actual content. It was $400,000 a year just to manage hosting, membership, and all of that, right? So the value is definitely there. And if you can go, as I said earlier, when I was talking about C-suite type executives, sometimes when you say, hey, I could, why are you using a custom built learning management system for $400,000 a year? I can build you something for $20,000 and have it up by the weekend. That's going to throw a bunch of red flags, yellow flags up to a C-suite executive, because that's not the language they're used to hearing. So typically when I bid these types of jobs out, it's in the $40,000 to $45,000 range. And that's for, hosting and using their content for learning and all that. And then if they need help with curriculum development, that's all on top of that package. Awesome.
Well, I just wanted to throw that out there because I knew you had some experience bidding those types of projects. And if you are an agency or WordPress professional watching this is there's lots of niches within LMS. Internal company training LMS sites is a very lucrative niche, or it can be. Can't guarantee your results. Your mileage may vary and all that, but it is a very, when a business needs something and they want something and they know they need to have it, and it creates a valuable asset for the company, it's really valuable, and you can add a ton of valuable if you know your way around WordPress and LifterLMS. Sorry to interrupt, Kurt. Just wanted to get
No, it's all good. Part of the upsell capability in the corporate training space is actually by offering that third-party customer service on the back end. So what I mean there is, helping with their students that need help with logging in or lost their password or reset a password or stuff like that. And so there's funding, there's revenue on the back end of these deals that go with ongoing maintenance. And this is the kind of tool that kind of could be the linchpin that ties that all together. So just to go over it again, it's $199 a year. Our page here covers, the restriction of the entire website, deploy internal training. That's a big thing for me. I use that quite a bit. Capture intellectual property. Chris described that in his talking about how we use it. And then bundle now, bundle later. We support the Infinity Bundle members like nobody's business with our weekly mastermind calls and things like that. We love to have that community working along with us, and it's a great way to share. And then, of course, if you want to see the Lifter private site in action, go ahead to this link, check it out, and we would love to have you.
And we'll take questions now. We are going to be doing a giveaway, so stay to the end. I'm not seeing a lot of questions, but go ahead and fill up the chat with any questions you may have. Also, if you're watching this live, be sure to drop your name in a comment, because we're going to use those names in our pool to draw the winner of who gets a free LifterLMS private site add-on. So if you are watching this live, just type your name in the comment below. It feeds into StreamYard where we're watching here, and that's what we'll use to build the list of people that are eligible to win the free private site add-on or a discount for that amount. So go ahead and do that. One question I've seen come up about private sites is, should I put it on a subdomain or not? And I'll pass it around the table a little bit, but I'll just say what we did at LifterLMS is we, our main website is for selling software, and we actually have our Academy site for the public on a subdomain. But for a private site, it made sense for us to also put the private site, completely different purpose, on a subdomain. So it's for us, it's at team.lifterlms.com. If the whole website was dedicated exclusively to internal training, you could just put it on the main URL, like lifterlmstraining.com or whatever, my company internaltraining.com. But I could see a lot of them ending up on subdomains or different URLs, because the business usually has a forward-facing website that they're not trying to lock down. But do you guys have any other comments on the subdomain or not question?
I'm totally in on the subdomain thing, Chris. When you get to thinking about things like employee onboarding, I've been really active in the onboarding space with corporations since the pandemic, because they offered remote workplaces. And then the first thing they do is they say, hey, for your first week, we're going to fly you to the corporate office so we can onboard you. And it's like, wait a minute, you promised me a remote job. Why am I flying to the office? So being able to take these theories and put them into a secure area on the web and let people onboard and train at a comfortable pace, I think adds a lot to the employee-employer relationship. Helps to honor the promise,
That makes sense. Do we have any other questions out there, Will?
Let's see. I don't see any questions yet in the chat. We have a couple of comments about how there's Bill. This is a great add-on as a part of the bundle. Yep, I think Bill's an Infinity Bundle member, and so the private site add-on is included with that Infinity Bundle, like Chris had mentioned before. And yeah, I think the only reason you'd want to go with the main domain is for SEO, and if it's a private site, there's no real SEO value there. Because everything's locked down, so you're not really getting anything out of that. So I think a subdomain is perfect. But yeah, I don't see any other questions in the chat yet, so feel free to drop any questions you have about private site, other LifterLMS questions. I'm sure we could dive into whatever.
And if there are no more questions, we can go ahead and draw our winner. And if anybody has any last minute questions, we'll check before we sign off here today. But if you want to run your magic, Will.
Yeah, do you want to do something like we did last time where people comment in the chat, or just go off of the people here in StreamYard?
Yeah, go ahead and cue it up the way we did last time.
Yeah. So if you are watching us live anywhere, whether it's YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, StreamYard, here, comments in the chat. What did we have people comment last time? Like your favorite color?
Name?
Yeah, your name. Yeah, your name. That makes more sense. Yeah, if I call out some color like, oh, purple wins, that won't make sense. But yeah, so drop your name in the comments, and wherever you're watching us, we'll let this run for like 30 seconds or so. Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, wherever you're at, just drop your name in the comments. We'll see the comments come in here in StreamYard, and then I'll draw a random winner from those names.
Awesome. And while we're waiting on that to finalize, go ahead and get private site while it's on sale. and that's at $199. You can go to LifterLMS.com and find it. It will be coming off sale here shortly, as it's actually launched a couple weeks ago, and we're coming to the end of the initial launch period. So if you're interested in picking up Private Site, head on over there now and get it. And it's also included in the Infinity Bundle. So if you just want to get everything that LifterLMS makes in an unlimited site license, and also get access to our highest levels of support, which include the weekly office hours mastermind, where we do live support and strategy and technical support, as well as connect with other users just like you. That's a great benefit of the Infinity Bundle. And I'll pass it back over to you, Will.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Chris. Let me run this like random number generator thing. Like, I like to do the random number generator, even though it takes a minute, so it's actually truly random. But cool, there we go. All right, number 3. All right, Donna Olson. Thanks for dropping in the chat. Donna, you've won help at LifterLMS.com. I'll put that email here in the chat. Help at LifterLMS.com. Just drop us an email. Say, hey, I won on the webinar, and we'll hook you up with a free year of LifterLMS private site.
Awesome.
Yeah, congratulations.
Congratulations, Donna. And what Candace is saying is that she's going to do a pilot of her course to help her stay focused and make sure there's demand, and to help motivate her. I think that's a great idea. My advice is to launch early and often. You can even build the first version of your course live with an audience. It's a great way to kind of get things rolling. But a lot of course creators are creative people. They tend to get into all kinds of different things. So staying focused is super important. So thanks for sharing that, Candace. Kurt and Will, thanks for helping put on this private site complimentary training. Thank you all for coming. If you have any questions about private site or anything else LifterLMS makes, we're easy to reach. Just shoot us an email at help@lifterlms.com. So go check out private site, build an internal training learning portal for your business. It's going to make your life easier. It's going to make your company more valuable. I'm Chris. We've got Will and Kurt from LifterLMS, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.